Here's a look at the World Cup's Group E, which includes a determined Brazil, Costa Rica, Serbia and a talented squad from Switzerland. Brazil is shaking off the embarrassment of losing 7-1 to Germany in its home World Cup. Since Tite took over as coach in 2016, the five-time world champions have become a winning machine again and were the first to qualify for Russia. Neymar, who missed the Germany humiliation through injury, is now racing to recover from the broken foot to make the trip to Russia. But in 6 games without the world's most expensive player, Brazil still won 4 times, including a friendly against Germany in Berlin in March. Indeed, the Brazilians head into this World Cup looking more balanced on the pitch and with a range of top players available in every position. Here's a closer look at the Brazil team, coached in less than 2 years. Adena Leonardo Bacci, universally known as Tite, has turned Brazil from a flop into a favorite for the title. A former pupil of defense-minded Luis Felipe Scolari, the 2002 World Cup champion who presided over the Germany humiliation, Tite has grown into a fan of Carlo Ancelotti and his well-balanced teams. Detractors say Tite's teams are low-scoring and that he charms players and journalists into sparing him from criticism. But his title streak at Corinthians from 2011 to 2015 underscores his credentials for the national team job. Goalkeepers, Alisson Becker wasn't a household name in Brazil when he started wearing the number 1 jersey 2 years ago. Now a starter for Roma, the 25-year-old Becker's admirers include Italy's Gianluigi Buffon. Alisson's skills with both hands and feet made Tite relegate Manchester City's Ederson to the bench, and he is being linked with a move to Real Madrid. Defenders, in 12 South American World Cup qualifiers games under Tite, Brazil conceded only 3 goals. The coach likes to play with a solid back four featuring Paris Saint-Germain duo Dani Alves and Marquinhos, Inter Milan's Miranda and Real Madrid's Marcelo. The 2 reserves are likely to be PSG central defender Thiago Silva and Juventus left-back Alex Sandro. Midfielders, Philippe Coutinho could replace Renato Augusto, who plays at China's Beijing Guoan, as the playmaker. If that happens, Coutinho's position on the left could be filled by Chelsea's Willian. Fred is also in contention to start. A more defensive variation would see Fernandinho, a newly crowned Premier League champion with Manchester City, take Augusto's place. Forwards, even if Neymar is match fit for the World Cup, his form will only be known once the tournament begins in Russia. Tite might have to resort to using Willian in his place. While Gabriel Jesus was Brazil's top scorer in qualifying, the Man City title winner faces greater competition from Liverpool striker Roberto Firmino. Costa Rica, a quarter-finalist at the World Cup 4 years ago, Costa Rica has high standards to match in Russia. The Central American nation, with a population of just less than 5 million people, won a group in Brazil that included England, Italy and Uruguay and only lost in the last 8 on a penalty shootout to the Netherlands. This time, on its 5th appearance at a World Cup, Costa Rica will be taking on 5-time champion Brazil in Group E. Here's a closer look at the Costa Rica team, coached. The qualifying path to Russia was riddled with doubts when coach Paulo Wancha resigned after being involved in a fight at an under-23 game. Former midfielder Oscar Ramirez took over the team, keeping the same base of players from the 2014 World Cup, even when some of them did not enjoy regular playing time at their European clubs. Ramirez's main challenge will be finding a way to fit in new players into this core group, especially in the attack. Goalkeepers, Keylor Navas is Costa Rica's best-known player and has the leadership qualities to match. His strong performance in Brazil secured a move in 2014 to Real Madrid, where he has been a regular starter and has won 2 Champions League titles in the past 3 years. Defenders, Giancarlo Gonzalez of Serie A side Bologna and Brian Oviedo of English club Sunderland are undisputed starters. The towering 6'4" Kendall Waston scored the qualifying goal in a last-gasp draw against Honduras. He is likely to also be included in the starting lineup. Midfielders, Brian Ruiz is the captain and main attacking threat. The Sporting Lisbon midfielder, who can also play as a second striker, was key to the run to the quarter-finals 4 years ago. Celso Gamboa, a defensive midfielder for Deportivo La Coruña, should also be confident of making the starting 11. Christian Bolaños, who plays for Costa Rican club Deportivo Saprissa, is struggling to overcome injuries. Forwards, Joel Campbell, who is on loan at Real Betis from Arsenal, scored twice when Costa Rica thrashed the United States 4-0 in the World Cup qualifiers. Ramirez also searched for options in the Costa Rican league, including David Ramirez and Ariel Rodriguez, who play for Saprissa. Sign up for Home Turf and get 3 exclusive stories every soccer sports fan must read, sent daily. Subscribe here. Serbia, the heir to the Yugoslavia national team, still struggles to live up to the legacy of the Plavi. Serbia, one of 7 national teams created after the breakup of Yugoslavia, is yet to make it past the group stage at a World Cup. Yugoslavia, which disappeared from the world football map in 2003 after a decade of wars, twice reached the World Cup semi-finals and was twice a European Championship runner-up. Serbia coach Slavoljub Muslin, who led the team to the top of the European qualifying group after Serbia failed to reach the 2014 tournament, was fired in October after a clash of opinions with the federation. Here's a closer look at the Serbia team. Coach Mladen Kristajic, a former national team defender and Bundesliga veteran, is in closer alignment with the federation's wishes for faster integration of the players who won the Under-20 World Cup in 2015. Kristajic was first brought in as a caretaker after Muslin's shock dismissal, despite having never held a previous coaching position. But he calmed nerves in March with a convincing 2-0 victory over Nigeria in a friendly. Goalkeepers. The towering Vladimir Stojkovic was the first choice for its qualification campaign, which, despite its ultimate success, exposed the team's irregular form. The Serbs conceded 10 goals in as many matches. Predrag Rajkovic, a 22-year-old former national youth team standout, made his senior debut at age 18 and has put in another 6 appearances. Defense. Branislav Ivanovic has long been a defensive rock, playing more than 100 times for his country while winning silverware with Chelsea. The centre-back seemed a natural choice to remain captain when Kristajic took over. The surprising pick was Roma left-back Alexander Kolarov, a 7-year Manchester City veteran admired by English fans for his reliable form and viral Christmas videos. Midfielders. Muslin's departure was blamed largely on his reluctance to use Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, the tall, fast, and versatile Lazio central midfielder whom Italians refer to as the Sergeant for his commanding style. The country's second highly bankable star is another midfielder, Nemanja Matic, who has so impressed Manchester United coach Jose Mourinho that helps a potential captain for next. Forwards. Coach Kristajic likes to field a 4-2-3-1 formation to exploit the goal-scoring talents of his midfield. Aleksandar Mitrovic remains the preferred lone striker and he produced 6 goals in qualification. While his finishes often look unspectacular, the 23-year-old Fulham forward has perfected close-range finishes. Switzerland's World Cup prospects are one of the hardest to predict, and also the most intriguing. Currently ranked number 6, the Swiss have enough talented players in the peak years of their careers to go far in Russia. Coach Vladimir Petkovic confidently suggested there was no limit to his team's potential minutes after qualifying in November. Then came the World Cup draw, with games against Brazil and Serbia putting the Swiss at risk of 2 quick losses and elimination within days. Switzerland fans have waited a long time to see their expectations exceeded at major tournament. The team appears good enough to do it this time, but it will be difficult. Here's a closer look at the Switzerland team. Coach. Among World Cup coaches, Vladimir Petkovic took a less traveled path to Russia. When Joachim Löw took charge of Germany in 2006, Petkovic still had a day job in a charity store while coaching lower-ranked Swiss teams. Petkovic took his big chance in 2012 to coach Lazio, and soon won the Italian Cup. He was hired for the Switzerland job only when then Austria coach Marcel Koller could not be tempted home to succeed Ottmar Hitzfeld after the 2014 World Cup. Goalkeepers. Jan Sommer has been Petkovic's consistent first-choice pick since taking over for Diego Benaglio, who retired from the national team after the last World Cup. Still, the Borussia Mönchengladbach goalkeeper is under pressure from Borussia Dortmund's Roman Bürki. Defenders. Switzerland gets its experienced backs from Italy, Steven Lichtsteiner of Juventus preparing for his 3rd World Cup on the right and AC Milan's Ricardo Rodriguez on the left. Fast improving Manuel Akanji staked his claim for a starting place with impressive displays in the playoffs against Northern Ireland in November. Midfielders. A veteran midfield trio should be Valon Behrami, Granit Xhaka and Blerem Jamaili, all with more than 60 appearances. Behrami is set for his 4th consecutive World Cup at age 33, 1 year younger than Lichtsteiner, as the calming statesman of the squad. Gemelli, now back in Serie A with Bologna after a loan spell at Montreal Impact, has the most attacking role of the three forwards. A central striker should be flanked by Xherdan Shaqiri to the right and Admir Mehmedi on the left. The identity of the central striker is perhaps the biggest question for Petkovic. Haris Seferovic, mostly out of favour at Benfica, is the latest Switzerland forward to be booed by fans. Borussia Mönchengladbach's Josip Drmic is returning from injury. Briel Embolo, the 21-year-old with Champions League-bound Schalke, has not been prolific in two injury-hit Bundesligas, though looks the most talented option. Group E schedule all times PT Sunday, Costa Rica vs. Serbia, 5 a.m. Brazil vs. Switzerland, 11 a.m. June 22nd, Brazil vs. Costa Rica, 5 a.m. Serbia vs. Switzerland, 11 a.m. June 27th, Switzerland vs. Costa Rica, 11 a.m. Serbia vs. Brazil, 11 a.m.